Hey folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis, and congratulations! Woo! Channel hit 3,000 subscribers yesterday, and I want to thank you all so much for that. This is really all about you. You know, this isn't about me to get out here and to talk about these things. Although I will tell you that my wife thanks you also, because now I have other people to do my rants and raves and complaints and stuff to than just her. Hold on, forgot my radio's on. So, you know, she definitely appreciates the fact that I have you now to talk to all the time. But I do want to say thank you for the support that you give and the compliments and the encouragement. It's extremely encouraging, and I'm very humbled by those of you that contact me and the things that you're saying, and it means a lot to me. And another bit of business I wanted to get to is if you live around me in my area in the south central Missouri Ozarks, north central Arkansas Ozarks, there is the monthly preparedness meeting is coming up next week, March 12th in Gainesville, Missouri at 6:30 p.m. It's just off the square at a little place called The Meeting Place. I was not able to make it last time. I talked about it, promoted it, was supposed to be there to meet people, and just before, a couple of hours before I was set to leave, my vehicle started having problems and kind of broke down, so I was not able to make it. So, Lord willing, I will be there this time. But if you are anywhere in the area of Gainesville, Missouri, I encourage you to try to make it. If you have any questions, email me. I'm not in charge. I'm not hosting it. I know the person that is. So, but I wanted to promote it on here. All right, now down to business. I need to take a sip of my coffee first. All right. So, are we on the brink of a civil war? A lot of people say that we're already in a civil war. My opinion is that we are in the midst of a civil Cold War. But yes, I tend to think that it is in the beginning stages, and it's happening. It's not just myself or other YouTubers or even conspiracy theorists, conspiracy theory type podcasts and stuff. We're talking mainstream media is talking about it. USA Today, Washington Post, several other, fairly prominent political, talk type people and news people have mentioned that, have talked about it, that we are on the brink of a civil war. In fact, I read a Georgetown professor, not that means that he's an expert, but hey, Georgetown professor sounds good, had said that, historically speaking, what is going on is definitely leading up to a civil war. We are extremely divided as a people. I'm not as old as some of you watching, but I'm definitely older than probably many. I can remember back when, politics wasn't quite as divisive as it is now. And it really started getting divisive. Now, yes, I know it has been for many, many, many years, many decades, but it's becoming a little crazy now, and it's not just the politics. I mean, I think I may have mentioned it in another video, but I'll mention it again. Just something that just kind of I heard the other day on the news, and it just made me think of how bad things really have gotten. Senator Dianne Feinstein from California. I can remember back when I was young and first getting interested in, what's going on in government, that she was considered just a hard, far left liberal. And the other day, an article was about her and that congresswoman from New York, Cortez, and basically it said that Feinstein is a moderate Democrat, that she represents now the moderate part of the party. And I thought, my word, how far left have they really gotten if Dianne Feinstein's considered a moderate? Now, of course, that's the way the media has of twisting things, but there is some truth to that. The radical communist left, they're pushing their agenda. Sorry, I got something in my mouth. I'll take a break here to brag. I had I think it's probably a little seed or something. I had fresh baked bagels for lunch today, so I got a little bit still in my mouth, and I apologize for the rudeness. Anyways, get back to my point. Things are changing very rapidly, I feel, and I'm not on here. I hate to be the one thing that I've not wanted to do on this channel and to use this platform is to do the scare tactics. You see that a lot on YouTube, especially, of people trying to build their channel and put out information that sometimes could be true, but they say it in a way to try to instill fear upon you. Run for the hills, the sky is falling. Well, it probably is falling, but you don't have to convey it in a way of scaring someone to death. So I don't want to get on here and talk about how we're all going to die. We're in the middle of a civil war and it's going to be horrible. But I think it's something that we need to start thinking about and talking about, because things look like that's where we're headed. The left and certain factions, I guess you could say, within the government, because with Trump in power, there do seem to be certain elements of state, local, and federal government that are kind of siding with him. And I think that's part of where it's going to come down to is these factions, even within our own government, of left and right. But they are becoming quite powerful, even though I don't think their numbers are quite as large as they'd like you to believe. I think the majority of Americans, and statistics show this too, fall either into the conservative or, kind of moderate, independent, libertarian type thinking, or even slightly moderate, or slightly conservative Democrat, I guess you could say. Statistically, there's not a, extremely large population of the far, far left, communist liberals. But the media wants you to think that they are the most popular. That's the thing now, that the whole country is switching gears, and we all want to, don our red, flags and become communists, because that's the way they make it sound. And there's some rapid changes. Gun control is becoming another hot issue. I mean, it always is, but it's becoming a real hot issue again. Abortion, states that are allowing abortion up to the point of birth and even afterwards, or making it unlawful to try to save the baby if the abortion happened, and if they did an abortion and the baby was born and actually survived the abortion, they can't try to give medical care to the baby. They basically have to let it lay there and just die. That type of stuff that maybe I'm wrong, but I would even think that liberals, 10, 20, and 30 years ago would not have really been for. I mean, yeah, there were factions then of the communist left, but, your average mainstream middle America, liberal Democrat probably wouldn't have even stood for that. So, there are battle lines definitely being drawn. They want the president out of office any way they can do it. And I've read another article, it was either this morning or yesterday, of their hyping things up. Of course, it's fake news. They're talking about how that the Democrats need to prepare that when and if Trump loses in 2020, that he'll most likely just not, leave office, that there'll be a battle there. And that they indicated, or that it could be a physical battle even, of Trump not wanting to leave office because he lost. Well, there's no indication that he would lose. I personally feel the way it looks right now, especially with the bus full of clowns that the Democrats so far have running for office, that he'll get reelected. But they're fear mongering, and it's something that as preppers, We, prepare for various things that could happen in our life, whether they're, personal emergencies or, global, Armageddons. But how many times have you sat and actually thought about, civil war? What would you do in a civil war? And how would that possibly play out? I'm not an expert on this, but I do enjoy history, and thinking about that. As Americans, the first thing we think of when we hear Civil War is the American Civil War of the 19th century between the North and the South. And so we conjure up images of, well, what's that going to be like today? Are you going to see this battlefield with liberals, standing in line and conservatives in the other line? I've even seen memes that, well, all the conservatives are the ones that have guns, so it'd be a quick civil war. Folks, let me tell you, I don't foresee the civil war that it could be happening soon, happening that way. It's not going to be a bunch of conservative Americans out there armed, and then, liberal Americans out there with whatever they have. It's not going to be that way. I have a feeling. I could be wrong. There's a few things to back that up. That number one, something that was different in the South, or in the time of the Civil War, is that it didn't so much matter, and I'm not going to get into the whole slavery issue of the Civil War, but it didn't really matter what your political stance was in the Civil War. You were loyal to your state for the most part. Now, yes, there were people that weren't, but if you lived in the South and you were saying, hey, I really think what the North is doing, what the federal government's doing is great. Most times it didn't matter. You were on the Southern side because you were loyal to your state. And so, that's how it became a battle between the North and the South. That's not really the case nowadays. So it's not going to be like Virginia succeeds and everyone in Virginia, takes the side of Virginia, because people have no loyalty that way. There's no loyalty to your state, and it's not a matter necessarily of states' rights or issues of the state versus the government. It's us versus the left and the government. So I have a strong feeling that, what it would come down to is American people against, factions of government that are controlled by the left. And if it truly really happened into an actual physical war, most likely those, factions of government controlled by the communist left would also be receiving some sort of support from, say, Russia and China and, other countries of, that are communist countries. So, like I said, I've seen people posted, online, we have all the guns, so that'll be a pretty quick civil war. It's not going to play out that way, guys. I think it's coming. I don't want to scare everyone. I don't have any insight that any of you don't have. But when you look at all the things happening, I've talked about this in other videos, when you look at all the things going on in our country and across the planet, something big is getting ready to happen. And a civil war may not be the thing, but it may be, just become a symptom of the thing. The economy is slowing down. It's not rapidly slowing down, but it is slowing down. Look at the retail industry. Businesses closing down and shutting down stores all over the country. The dollar continued to lose its value. We continue to go in debt more. Everything's starting to look kind of bad when it goes on the side of the economy. And then all this extremely divisiveness within our own government and within our own nation. And then add into this that it's not just a battle between your typical Democrats and typical Republicans. The truly patriotic right, mostly because of Donald Trump, have become very energized. And they like the fact that for the first time in a long time, there's someone in office that will say things that, tell it like it is, and shows, stands up for conservatives. And also, for the first time in American history, the left has become very openly vocal about being, pro-communist. While it's been whispered in the past, and they've been accused of it in the past, they're very open about it now. They make no apologies for the fact that they're hardcore socialist communist. And so a lot of things are rapidly happening in our country, and it's something that we all need to be aware of. We all need to kind of be on guard. I said in another video a few weeks back, kind of talking similar things, that you still have time to start getting your life prepared, getting your family prepared, getting your soul prepared, because hard times are coming. America has had a long run of plenty and of prosperity, and of pretty much safety and freedom, and I think it's finally coming to us. History does repeat itself, and if you look at all the things that's going on in this nation right now, I don't know that you could have a more perfect recipe for disaster. So I just wanted to bring that up and caution the people that, if you hear these things about civil war happening, well, don't worry about it because we got all the guns, blah, blah, blah. It's not how it's going to happen. So be careful, and don't be terrified. I don't want to scare anyone, but we just need to be on guard. And if you're not doing it already, you need to start getting yourself prepared, getting your home prepared, as much as you can. Does that mean that you come out in the end squeaky clean and okay? No, but it definitely increases your odds. It gives you an advantage over many other people. And at the very least, it's worth it for that reason. All right. I'm going to get off of here. And remember, if you're around in my neck of the woods and would like to go to this meeting in Gainesville, Missouri, if you want any more information about it, you can email me, setaparthomestead19@gmail.com. And I'll give you what information I know about it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.